Welcome to part 2 of Mythbusting Ram in Rainbow Six Siege. Can Solus detect Ram? So Solus obviously able to pick up pretty much every drone in the game, but when it comes to Ram's drone, it's a little bit different. So as you can see there, we can see the drone, but when she activates it, we don't see Ram activate it, and once it's activated, there is no digital signal or anything coming out of the drone, so it's just this dumb thing, and it is no longer detected by Solus. So I would say this is more of a plausible one. Like if she holds it like this, you can totally take her out like through a wall or something. But I kind of doubt she's going to be doing that. However, if you do see the arc of the throw, you might have a decent idea of where she's standing if, of course, she's not moving. But I'm going to say it's a plausible. I don't think Solus is a very strong counter here. Does Mute counter Ram? So we've got two mute jammers set up here. We're going to have Ram actually throw her first drone straight into the mute jammer. And this means that she cannot activate it with her detonator or switch to get the ignition started. So as you can see there, it is successfully jammed. Now, I wouldn't say this is particularly a counter because if you're a good Ram player, this is not going to stop you. And then as you can see, if our mute jammer is not present there and we drive into another one, it'll just keep on trucking. And because mute jammers have to be placed on the floor, they're going to get wrecked if this drone gets anywhere near them. So there's not really a great counter here for mute to actually avoid this problem of the new drone brought by Ram. So let's see if Ram counters Mira. Now, if the mirror is on, say, a soft wall or a reinforced wall, this is going to change the outcome of this test. And it does mean we're going to probably get a confirmed and busted here, depending on how you're setting up your mirrors. So on soft walls, it'll just go right through, take out that Mira, no problem whatsoever. But on reinforced walls, it will not, as you can see here. Even if you come at it from the other side and attempt to destroy the canister on the Mira window, it will have no impact on it at all. So that is busted. But like I say, if it's on a soft wall, it's a confirmed. Now, if you do place the mirror windows as high as you can, the drone will go underneath them on the soft wall, which maybe teamed up with like a Zami to replace the bit that's been destroyed. Perhaps that would be a tactic that's usable here. And Ram can get creative with this. For instance, you can put a hole above the mirror window in the actual soft wall, and she can throw it up there, and then when she activates it, it actually drops down through all of that soft wall, destroying it, which can be a tactic used not just for mirror windows, but for opening up far bigger soft wall entrances. Now let's move on to the drone pest himself, Mozzie. So obviously when you think drone in any capacity, you think Mozzie should be able to do something to it. But yeah, let's see. We've got a couple of pests here either side of the drone. They're doing nothing to it. We're going to activate and it's going to go fine. Mozzie's also going to shoot at it. Nothing is going to happen. So this thing's completely dumb. It's just a combustion engine once it gets started. And yeah, Mozzie does nothing to it at all. So that is busted. Now, just like with Jäger, let's test Wamai. We're going to throw up a bunch of magnets here, and then, of course, we're going to lob the drone right into them to see if they do anything at all. Now, the magnets would have to be super powerful to do anything, but I could think of something that could happen here. Maybe they could actually change the direction of the drone, pulling it towards them or something like that. But yeah, the magnets have no interaction whatsoever with this new drone, so that is busted. Now, let's actually talk about attackers because Ram can be a problem. Let's talk about Monty to start with, and of course this goes for Blitz as well. Well, yeah, that clash effect we've seen earlier, that is exactly the same with Monty. Not good. If you have a bad Ram player, and I'm sure there's going to be a ton of them because this gadget's actually very hard to use properly. So if you just accidentally run this at a Monty, it could get him killed. So yeah, confirmed, and watch out for that if you play Ram, or of course if you're playing Monty and you hear this drone coming, you're going to want to get the heck out of its way. Another thing is that this gadget doesn't care about friendly stuff. So we've got gridlocked tracks just covering up this entire corridor, and if we switch our drone on, well, it's just going to rip them all up and make potentially a very nice path for defenders. So gridlock and Ram, not a good combo unless you've already sent in Ram's gadgets first and then you put out the tracks afterwards. That could work. But yeah, I would definitely watch. And this goes for every friendly gadget, drones, deployables, pretty much every attacker gadget you can get your hands on. Now this is a suggestion I've seen on Reddit. Could you actually attach Nomads to this drone and drive it into an objective, of course, loaded to bear with some knockback abilities. So first of all, the actual thing went through it, but then I noticed the canister, some reason it's considered solid and you can actually stick stuff to it. So imagine this bad boy rocking on in with some nomads on the back of it. It'd be quite a hilarious thing. However, we don't really have that in Siege. So you can see that two of the ones were just a failure, but the one on the canister did act different. And I think that's because the canister is kind of considered to be a little bit of a different thing. However, if we actually move the drone, yeah, they just kind of hover there, and then of course they're actually destroyed because this thing destroys everything around it, friend or foe. So unfortunately it is busted, but would be hilarious to see. However, I will point out, because you can attach it to the canister when it's stationary, maybe for some crazy reason you could set up some sort of trap with a stationary drone, but I don't see right now how that would be doable. Another one of those gadgets is OSA. Now, because the drone has some like really big AoE damage, you don't want to get even slightly close to an OSA shield, and you could get OSA or anyone else who's using it for cover killed. And when you also place it on a window, it kind of acts a little bit differently, and this maybe will change in the test server, but the drone will hit it for a while. It's doing damage to something, I'm getting hit markers, but it'll then punch through eventually and take that shield out. So definitely another bad combo here is OSA and RAM together. I don't think they're a great mix. And of course, this extends to deployable shields for defenders as well. Now, one you might not think about when it comes to gadgets is Iana's hologram, because of course, if it takes some physical damage, it's going to get wrecked. So let's test this. And technically, this is a bunch of flying drones making the hologram, but they do not like buzzsaws apparently. So they'll get wrecked, and that's Iana's hologram out as well. So watch out as a Iana player, you don't want to be running in with these drones. Now let's jump into an alternate reality and look at what would happen if this drone was changed with its interactions with operators. And we'll start with Castle. So this is actually what it would look like if Castle Barricades just shrugged off the drone. Now I prefer this, it feels more like it should be the case with Castle, and these things just shouldn't run right on through. And in game, when I see this, I think, yeah, this kind of looks right, and I'd be quite happy. And I don't think it would really take away too much from Ram's abilities here, because she can still run up and melee those Castle Barricades out of the way, or someone else can destroy them for her. So I don't think it would be a big nerf if she couldn't go through them. Now let's look at an alternate reality Mira interaction. So of course, just as normal, we'd go through the soft wall version of Mira. However, on a reinforced wall, the black mirror would actually get pulled off. Now, of course, this would be extremely powerful, and this happened due to a bug. But my god, could you imagine if this thing could just rip the mirror directly off? It would not be good. So this is one of those things where I'm glad it doesn't interact like this. Anyway guys, thanks for watching part 2 of Mythbusting RAM. If you missed it, part 1 is also out. And let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Of course, subscribe, like, and comment to help the channel. And thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you next time.